Welcome back, everyone. Today is part one of my Illuvium Price Prediction video. I'm going to be going over all the different revenue distribution streams that Illuvium contains and how you might benefit from it with however many tokens you have in whatever pool and all that sort of stuff. There's Illuvidex, Illuvitars, the Illuvium game, Illuvium Zero. I'm going to go through it all. So please stay tuned. You're going to love what I have in store for you today. Welcome back. I'm Scoriox, where I do the maths and you do the degen. And of course, as we all know, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. And let's jump into it. Now, as you guys probably noticed, I have updated my setup. I want it to be a lot cleaner and simpler, and I'm really liking where this is going. It might need a few tweaks here and there, but at the moment, I'm really loving my new setup. So if you guys want to tell me what you think about it in the comments down below, please, I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell, because I have lots of cool stuff coming up. ILV Price Prediction 2, Part 2, and among a lot of other things, like if you should stake in SLP or ILV and why, and things like that. And if you want to get all that awesome content, then please subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. Okay, and one quick special thanks to Vedamore for showing off my t-shirt on my merch store. I'll make sure it's in the description and on my channel. Another quick shout out to Shiny Shards. That is the guild I'm a part of. If you guys want to have better luck DMing me and talking to me and things, I'm really active in there. I'm active in the Discord as well, but sometimes I miss the tags. In the Shiny Shards Discord, I don't miss a beat. It will also be in the description down below. All right, now without further ado, let's jump into it. So I'm back on my calculator today, and I'm trying to work on protecting the sheet so I can get it out to as many people as I can. But for anyone who wants to know, it'll go to the Shiny Shards Discord first, and then move from there. So if you're interested in looking at it, and it will be an Excel sheet. I have not found a way I can do it in Google Docs and Google Sheets, sorry. Okay, so I'm looking at every single revenue stream I could think of for Illuvium. In its first year, this might be more like an 18-month play here, because we're not sure kind of how long merchandise might take. But besides that, this should really all be kicking off at least in the middle of this year onwards, okay? So this includes several major things. Firstly, the gameplay loop. Actually, let me switch to this one. Firstly, the gameplay loop, okay? The Illuvidex, which is the marketplace that people sell their Illuvials and other resources on to other players. So it's just like a trading marketplace like OpenSea or Immutable X. They're calling it the Illuvidex. I don't think they will also go on IMX, even though the whole thing's built on IMX, but it might go on both for all I know. But either way, the fees will be both ways. Okay, land speedups. I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some description of land setup and speed up, similar to how Clash of Clans might work, where you could speed up your buildings and get them running faster. I've got the Illuvitars, which is the portrait system that they're implementing into the game, and there's a purchasing system around that and everything, and I'll explain that in a bit further depth in a minute for everyone who's wondering. So don't worry, I'm going to jump into Illuvitars briefly, but I'm definitely going to make more videos on that in the future if you guys want to see that. So please leave a comment down below if you want to know more about Illuvitars. And then I've got the total revenue of all that. And the last one is merchandise, okay? Now, there's a lot to get through today, so I'm going to try and be relatively quick, but please be patient with me. I'm going to go through these one by one, kind of how I came up with these figures, and then I'm going to go through the figures at the end. So I'm not going to take up too much of you guys' time. All right. So firstly, the gameplay loop. This one's really simple. I guessed on all these figures. So anything with a blue box is me telling myself that it's an editable field. Everything else is formulas and all sorts of stuff going into it that uses the other fields to calculate things. But the big thing here is that in June of last year, so this is very subject to change and could be dynamic as the game is released, but in June of last year, Kieran mentioned that $50 per gameplay loop is kind of what he was considering, okay? So I've based a lot of that on this, and these are my lowball figures. So I'll go into my what I think is conservative figures straight after I do all these. I'll leave timestamps in the description as well, so if you guys want to skip ahead, but you're really going to want to see everything, trust me. Okay, so we thought $50 per gameplay loop. Now, what have I got calculating the revenue? I've got a bunch of variables over here, okay? I've got the estimated amount of players. If you guys know how I think about Illuvium, 500k in the first year even is highly, highly conservative. I think we're going to smash that in the first month. So just keep that in mind. These are my conservative numbers. I've got the amount of players that are free to play. I've got the amount of scholars, which are a percentage of the free to play players that have scholarships. So they're paying as if they're pay to play, but they're kind of free to play players, okay? So they just add on top of there a little bit. And then I've got the alluvial resale and the accessory count. And I'll go over them in a second. And the SILV claim, which is simply like a accuracy tolerance for myself. I pretty much just deduct 10% off the end. The end here, in case there's lots of unforeseen things, they got to cover costs and stuff like that, even though it's serverless architecture. If you guys want to learn more about their serverless architecture, please leave a comment down below and I'll see if I can make a video about it. It's a bit complex, but really the underlying technology is quite simple and there's not really that much you need to know. Okay, so based on all these figures, 500,000 players, 75% of them being free-to-play players, the game would still be earning 3.65 billion off Illuvium itself in the first year or so. Okay, well, the first 12 months, but I'm going to say till the end of this year. That's kind of what I'm basing a lot of these figures on. So 3.65 billion, that's more than Axie Infinity. A simple gameplay loop with about 200,000 players. If they're all earning money, it's very possible that they do this, but obviously there's a lot more that goes into this. Again, not financial advice. Okay, let's jump on to the next one, all right? The Illuvidex market. This one is an interesting one. So I've looked at a few different marketplaces to kind of gather some numbers and figures here, including Axie Infinity, Sandbox, and Townstar. Sandbox and Townstar being on OpenSea, and Axie Infinity being on its own platform. And they all have different market fees. Now these market fees, sorry, anytime you list and sell an alluvial or whatever on the Illuvidex, a small fee is taken. This isn't a gas fee, this is separate. A small fee is taken, okay, and distributed to staking token holders, right? So the more trading, the better. So even if people aren't spending thousands of dollars on the gameplay loop, as long as they're trading back and forth alluvials a lot, then the revenue distribution is still really rolling in it, okay? So there's a lot of different areas here that you need to consider for revenue distribution. It's not just the game, all right? There's a whole slew of things. And this is just 2 of them out of the 5 I've discerned, all right? We don't quite know what the market fee is. I've deducted about 4%, but I believe they're talking about as high as 6%, but it could be even lower. But based on averages and Axie Infinity being 4%, I thought 4% was a good number. And this number here is just the profit someone is making, how much people are selling alluvials for, which I've set up in my variable over here as $75. And I'm just using that and taking 4% and things like that. It's very, very simple, all right? Nothing over the top. Just trying to find out the revenue distribution. Okay, land speedups. Now, this is something I don't see being a huge amount. You'll notice I have 40,000 lands I'm calculating this for, and I'm using the average spend that people have spent in Clash of Clans and Raid Shadow Legends. I've averaged that out, and I'm using that spend as an annual amount that a person will spend on their land speedups, which is only $17. So realistically, this could be significantly higher, but I wanted to be conservative with this one because we don't really know how far it's going to go. I know Kieran and Aaron have definitely discussed that there will be a lot of things you cannot speed up and you need to wait the time, which is good. I think in a play-to-earn ecosystem, being able to speed up everything might break the economy a little bit, or not break it, but it will definitely give a very unfair advantage. So I just want to be clear with that. That's why this is quite low. This is probably our lowest one, okay? Now, the Illuvitars, all right? Let's jump into that quickly. Okay, so here are Illuvitars. Let me just bump that up for you guys. There are two things you can buy from the Illuvitars. Your base portrait, all right? And this comes in a variety of rarities. The bigger rarity you want, the more Ethereum you pay. The highest rarity being about $7,800 today's standard. 2.5 Ethereum being the diamond rarity. Goes bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. And the Illuvitar base. This works a little bit different because you can pay the random cost or the specific cost. Basically, there's 4 types of accessories. There's head, face. I've forgotten them. Damn it. All right, there's 4 different kinds. There's like head, probably torso, feet, and like face or something like that. I'm not sure because they can have like headphones and glasses and stuff. Anyways, so you bond these accessories to your Illuvitar, which is pretty cool. And all the stats are there, but I'll have to go break that down in a different video because there's really a lot to unpack here. So if you guys want to see that, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. All right, let's jump back into it. So the revenue. What I've done is I've taken the average cost of a base, so somewhere in the middle, which I think was the gold one. I've taken that and I've set a paying player based on my stats up the top right here, like I said before. A paying player buys 1 base, buys 2 random accessories, and fills the other 2 with specific ones because they're trying to fill the slot they don't have. If they get a random one, they might get 2 head accessories or 2 feet accessories or whatever. And we all know that that would suck. Spending a lot of money on something you can't really use yet. But you can always resell it, so. Okay, and these are actually unlimited until this set ends. And then they're really scarce. So don't go rushing into Illuvitars if you do anything, all right? They're not going to run out. Take your time. Listen to my channel. I'll definitely be helping everyone out. And that totals about $1 billion for Illuvitars. For pretty much 100,000 paying people. A lot of whales in there, so it kind of averages out. So yeah, we're really getting into the thick of it now. Now, the last thing I wanted to look at was merchandise. Now, Pokemon and Nike are on this list here. Pokemon makes pretty much their entire revenue stream off merch, and they earned 101 billion, I'm pretty sure, in 2020. That's a lot of money. I'm not expecting us to make 101 billion. Nike, they made about 6 billion. Now, they're on this list because Illuvium recently partnered with Nike. Nike is going to be helping them with their merchandise and their merchandise distribution. So it's definitely interesting to look at this 6 billion figure of what Illuvium could hope to achieve. That's a lot of revenue distribution in its own. Something like $1,000 per token. Just if they had Nike's numbers. Now, they won't in just merchandise, but it's just interesting food for thought. Now, some of the other ones include, so the ones I've averaged out to get my average that I used for my calculations were Blizzard, Riot, and Minecraft. Blizzard with 300 mil, Minecraft with 700 mil, and Riot with 50 mil. And it totals about 350 mil for our revenue. Okay, it's quite a bit. Now, down the bottom here, I've taken all of these revenues and I've put them in the bottom here. And at the moment, for these statistics, remember 500,000 players and 75% of them are free to play. You're looking at potentially $5.2 billion in 12 months. That's just, think about that for a second. That is a significant amount of money for not very many players. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I know you guys all are too, but I'm really, really excited. So let's quickly jump into the Revdis before I jump into my more, I'm going to call it conservative, but a bit more extreme numbers. So you can see the different pools here. So your annual revenue for ILV 1.0 is 347, 694 for ILV 2.0, 427 for SLP 1.0, and a whopping $855 for 2.0. Now I've averaged them all out, and that would give you an annual ROI on each token of about 77%. Now I don't know if you guys have done much compounding interest mathematics before, but it can really stack up as the years go on, because you get 77% on your previous 77%, and the revenue overall has gone up, and it's a whole mess, but so is the token price. So your ROI could actually go down over time, but you could still be earning the same USD, if not more. All right. This is your ILV token ROI. So if you have one token, you get 0.77 tokens in return. Now, let's look at my less conservative numbers, to say the least. And again, really quickly, if you guys could like and sub, I really appreciate it. Share it with all your friends. Illuvium is going to change the world. I genuinely believe that. And that's why I work so hard on all the graphics and everything on the channel. I'm definitely going to be making more merch soon too. I'm really glad Venomore bought it, and it made me super excited. I can't wait to make more. Yeah, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Now, here are the less conservative numbers. I've got 2 million players. Half of them are free to play, and 20% of those free to play are scholars. The rest stays the same because I don't really need to change that. I think that's perfectly fair where it is right now. Conservative, really, I think Illuvials could resell for more, at least early on in the game, and then resell for just over the gameplay loop later on, potentially. But you know what? I'm going to bump this up. I really do think we could hit 3 million players by the end of this year. I think we could go a lot higher. But as my estimate, I really think 3 million is likely, and that's kind of the direction I'm going with my price prediction. In the next part 2, I'm going to be using all this information and some other TA and things to figure out just where ILV is going in the short term and long term. All right. So I'm going to bump this up to 3 million players. I think that's 3 million. Yep. The amount of revenue from the gameplay loop itself is already at $33 billion. That is extreme. Now you'll notice that a lot of these other things really start to pale in comparison to the gameplay loop, but Illuvitars is the one big thing that keeps up at $9.1 billion. All right, because all these players are buying their Illuvitars. Now there are free Illuvitars. You can get a T01 for free. I don't know if you can get any accessories for it. I'm not sure. There might be 1 or 2 here and there. But you can have a free Illuvitar. So not everyone's going to buy it. And I'm including that because the free-to-play players are not buying them. This is just the pay-to-play players. Or the play-to-earn players. So just quickly summarizing these revenues. For the gameplay, about 33 billion. Around 2 billion for the Illuvidex. 700k for land, same as before. 9 billion for Illuvitars. And the same as before, 350 mil for merchandise. And that brings our total to about $44.3 billion. All right. For an SLP 2.0 token, that would net you 7,000 US dollars per token you have staked in the protocol. That's about 6.5 tokens to every 1 token. All right. I joined a group recently. Okay. And they talked about a new trading strategy they were implementing where you just go for a 2% gain. But here's the interesting thing. If you start with $100 and you earn 2% on that $100 every single day for a year, I think it was. I think you're a millionaire. I think it was. You're a millionaire. Now, if we look at this again, this is close to 2% daily on each token. On average, it's actually quite a bit higher for the SLP 2.0. It's about 2% daily. So it's compounding as well, because you could take that ILV you earned, put it back into the protocol, and it's just compounding over and over. And as I just said with my thesis before, for a full year, you could probably be a millionaire off $100, theoretically. Okay, if you were earning 2% ROI. Again, this is 2% ROI on the ILV tokens you hold, but it still holds true in a certain sense. So please, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really loved making it. It took me a while to put all this information together But I hope it gives you all a bit of perspective on what we could see in the coming weeks, months, and even years for the Illuvium ecosystem and for the power of revenue distribution. I think if this does work the way I'm seeing it working, I don't think Illuvium is going to be the only company doing this. I know FNC has already implemented it, but I don't think Illuvium is going to be the only company implementing, well, this is pretty much a fancy dividend in a lot of ways, or a much more powerful dividend. And I don't think it's going to be the only one. All right, thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you'll watch that next video up in the top right hand corner, or don't, but I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe down below. I'll catch you all in the next one.